Hello, I'm JW, and back with this halogen lamp here, which we're going to convert into something else. And before we do that, a comment was put there the other day from Nick Hill 92, who said it'd be fun to see that in operation with a halogen lamp. So you can actually still buy the thing. So I've got one here, and this is of course 1000 watts. It's one of these linear halogen lamps, similar style to the 500 watt and the other wattages available in the normal sizes, but the difference to this one is it's considerably longer. So there is the offending item, and you can't see this on the camera, but at the end there it says 240 volts, 1000 watts. And this is the kind of lamp where you're not supposed to touch the glass with your fingers, because if you do, then the grease and oil in your fingers gets onto the glass, and it can cause that to be damaged when it of course gets up to a very high temperature. So we'll fit this in the light and attach a suitable lead to it, and then take it outside and see what it actually looks like. Now here's the light here, and I've already taken the cover off and removed that dreadful old flex that was inside. As we saw in the previous video, it had literally just totally disintegrated. And the back cover is this apparently steel item with a bit of corrosion, but it does have a rubber gasket on the inside, so still reasonably usable. Just two screw holes to connect that in place. And I've cleaned off some of the dirt on this thing, and just have a look inside the terminal box here. So this is the terminal box, that's the hole where the cable would go in. And inside here we've got the two wires from the actual lamp holder. So one of them here, that'd be the neutral, and the line actually goes through this ceramic block. And in the centre here we've actually got a fuse. So it's a normal 13 amp fuse in the case of this one, and that's quite a nice feature there. So it's actually a fuse built into the light itself. So just simply the wiring actually goes around underneath, it goes in that side, and then of course just goes out on the other side over there. And I've got the other terminals here that will obviously be for the neutral. So when I actually took this out, there was another terminal block just sort of shoehorned in here, made out of plastic, so not quite sure why that would be, but obviously that would just go in the end there. And then it's line neutral, and the earth connection would be to this stud here, just fixed onto the metal casing of the light itself. And this is quite a large item. I say it's a fairly substantial box there, and say it's pretty oversized really for what it's doing, but nevertheless makes it much easier to get the wires in there. And then here we've just got the two wires which have got this sort of braiding over the top, and inside just see that they're insulated some kind of fibrous material there, and just the wires on the end, they just go through there and then into the body of the light itself. This is the internals of the light, and the holders here are still in usable condition. There's one on each side there, and I've just removed the two end plates, so essentially that would just fit in there, and then a similar one at the other end, and I suppose just to cover up the two wires there. And the actual lamp fits between these two holders, and although this is a considerably larger one, it's the same kind of arrangement as on the smaller sized floodlights. And the lamp here essentially just fits between the ends there, so you've got the two pieces there, and that's just basically spring loaded onto the terminals at the end. Now here's the actual lamp, and they say the deal is you're not supposed to touch the glass on these with your fingers. So otherwise when it heats up to a high temperature when it's on, the oil and things from your fingers can actually damage the glass and causing it to fail. So generally just hold it with the either the ceramic end, or to use the piece of plastic that it comes with from the packaging. And the deal is it basically just slots in at the one end here, and then the other end, because both of these are spring loaded, just a question of moving that along and then just locating that at the other end there. That's pretty much the same deal as you would fit one in a smaller sized, more usual floodlight. And you can see there that now it's in there, it's actually securely fitted between there, and it needs to make sure that the actual ceramic does go onto the end pins there, otherwise of course it won't actually work. So that's all connected in there, and normally they say these pieces will just slot in at the ends there, but we'll leave those out because obviously we're only doing this just to see what it actually looks like. So I've just put a bit of flex here, just a 3-core item there, so obviously line into the fuse part, neutral through the other side there, put the other wire in as well, and earth of course just to that metal stud thing in the middle. So that's fine, and it does actually have a little sort of grip thing there, so I've just tightened that up so at least does hold that in position. So just on the side there, and other end just put a normal plug on here. Obviously it's going to be testing this temporarily, and that's the inside of the plug there, and that's essentially what they should look like when they're finished. And notice that the earth wire here at the top is considerably longer, so if this got pulled out by mistake or whatever, it would pull these out first and leave the earth connected at the end. So let's just put this together. So that's all wired together, and I have tested it on the machine up there just to make sure that it's actually safe and it's not going to just short out the mains or something when it's plugged in. And nevertheless it is fairly old, but does still work correctly. Now we're going to test this outside, because obviously turning it on in here is not going to really show a great deal, and we're going to do this outside in the garden. And of course we're going to wait till it's dark, because no point switching it on in the middle of the sunny afternoon. And the garden here is actually overlooked by the street lights. However, the street lights in this area are of the kind which turn off at night, which seems kind of pointless having them in the first place. But nevertheless, that's what we've got. So these particular ones go off around midnight. So once those have gone off, it is pretty much as dark as it's going to get. So we'll take it outside and then switch it on and see what kind of a job it does of lighting up the garden. Now outside in the garden, and as you see it's pretty much totally black. The orange light towards the left there is actually a street light that's way down on the main road. That's sort of 150 metres odd away. And I can't really see anything here, but I've got a little LED torch type thing here, so we'll just shine that around and see what we can actually see. So you can see there's a tub there and various bits of the grass and other plants and bits and pieces around there. And bearing in mind that the gain on the camera is pretty much at maximum here, so obviously even with that light we're not really seeing a great deal. So I'll just go and switch on the halogen floodlight, and I've actually positioned it to the lower left of the image here, so it should light up pretty much the whole of the garden. So there it's lit up. Now the colour there will change a bit as the camera's on automatic white balance, so actually it's just sort of slowly changing there as the thing automatically adjusts. But you can see there it's pretty much lighting up the whole place, and certainly items at the front there are actually probably a bit over illuminated, that sort of plastic bag there. And there's the light on the just sitting on a chair there, so just a couple of feet above floor level. And if you just have a look around the front of it here, you'll see that the front of it is just a complete blaze of light, and that's pretty much what it looks like in real life, as obviously the camera may have overexposed a bit. But there you go, so it covers pretty much the whole garden, and you can see the street light over to the left of the picture there, which is of course not switched on. And I'll just have a sort of a pan around. You see it's spreading the light far and wide. Now the light's only been on for a few minutes, and the actual light fitting is already too hot to touch. And I'll just go in front of the light there, and you'll see it's pretty much capable of illuminating the whole area. And if I just unplug the light there, you'll see again that without the light it's pretty much impossible to see anything. And just got that sort of LED light there again to at least see what we're doing. But as you can see, pretty much everywhere else totally dark and impossible to see anything. So that's it for this time. And next time hopefully we're looking at the actual light and putting all the components inside. But until then, thanks for watching.